Good evening, folks. Your town council would like to welcome you to the regular town council meeting of Tuesday, January 5th, 2021. Happy New Year. We'll call the meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. We would ask that you would all rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Hayes, would you call the roll, please?
Councillor Blow?
Here.
Councillor Kelly?
Here.
Councillor Reed? Here. Vice Chair Chusignet?
Here.
Chair O'Neill?
Here. Council, just one note on the agenda. It's a minor change, but at the bottom of the first page, under public hearings, business licenses and approval, the bottom license for Scott McCrum is for a liquor license. So I just want to make note of that before we start the meeting.
Could you say that again, Sean?
Yeah, on the bottom of the first page, Ken.
Yeah.
The license for Scott McCrum is a liquor license.
Okay.
Okay. That having been said, acknowledgements this evening. Council? No? No? Having none, good and welfare this evening. Having none, to the acceptance of minutes. To accept the regular town council meeting minutes from Tuesday and the administrative review board meeting minutes from Tuesday, December 15th, 2020. So move.
Second.
Thank you, council. The motion has been made and second. There's no further discussion and none opposed. That motion will carry 5-0. This evening, folks, we have a presentation from the Biddeford Saco Ave Transit. We welcome Mr. Tony Scavuzzo. Did I say that correctly?
You sure did.
Thank you. Yeah, welcome, and thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you, Chair O'Neill.
If you want to remove your mask, you can, just for so people at home can hear you.
Okay, just to make sure everybody, I'm
Yep.
socially distanced, so
Yeah,
we're
we
all
are,
set
so,
here.
yeah, thank you for that.
So thank you, Chair O'Neill and the council for your time this evening. I wanted to give an update before budget time came around on what's going on with the agency that you are part owner of. So without further ado, I wanted to give you an update first on our COVID-19 situation, as everybody obviously is knee-deep in. We continue to sanitize our vehicles every day for service with electrostatic disinfectant guns and foggers to make sure riders are safe each day. Masks are required to ride. We have hand sanitizer on board. We have social distancing on board. And we also have partitions to protect our drivers to make sure that our employees are safe. So that continues every day and has done so since the inception, since April. Our ridership is down 50%, and that is very, very consistent with nationwide trends. People are not going to work, they're not going to school, they're not traveling as they were, which means fare recovery is down at least 50%. So the CARES Act is keeping us whole and solvent for the short term, and that money has come from FTA through the CARES Act, through the federal government. We have made a plan through PACS for this augmented funding to carry us into 2022. So this was how we were able to keep the municipal contributions of our owner municipalities flat going into this fiscal year, and that was the prudent thing to do, and we wanted to be positive civic partners and make sure we gave all the relief we could, knowing we had that CARES Act help behind us. Without that CARES Act, we have a fiscal cliff present. So the goal for us is to get our ridership, fare recovery, and fare-related revenue as close to back to where it was before that those CARES Act dollars runs out, or we will be facing some tough times. So thankfully, we have the CARES Act, and we were able to provide that fiscal relief going into this fiscal year for all our municipalities. So just a ridership update. Fiscal year 2019, we had our highest ridership we've ever had, over 366,000. This last fiscal year, down 27%, which included April, May, and June of 2020. That did include a full trolley season, which is a big boon for us financially and for ridership. So that fiscal 2020, that down 27%, that was with a full trolley season of July and August, the beginning of the fiscal year. So fiscal year 2021, which we're in right now, we did not have a full trolley season, and obviously we're continuing to have big ridership decreases, so that's projected to be less. So our ridership will probably be between 100 and 200,000 for this fiscal year. Fare recovery, same trends. Again, fiscal year 2020, that was with a full trolley season, and 2021 is projected less. Municipal contribution currently $165,000. It was kept flat for this year. This is the ladder we are proposing. Bumping that to $200,000, we need to start thinking post-CARES Act help to make sure that any gap that still remains, we are able to fill to remain solvent. We want to get the collective contribution of the 3 owner towns into the range. As you can see, some examples, South Portland and Westbrook, what they give on their own. We have the power of the 3 municipalities to get into that range, so it's nice to have the power of the 3 owner municipalities. To move on to actual trolley ridership, again, fiscal year 2019 full trolley season was one of our best seasons ever, over 142,000 riders. Continue to mitigate congestion and drive the economy in the summertime and help with our trolley service. Fiscal year 2020 down 14%, but that was with a full trolley season. This last trolley season, we only had about 35,000 riders, so it was down about 75% for obvious reasons. Fare recovery following the same trend. We had a super year, fiscal year 2019, fiscal year 2020 down 9% because we lost the end of that fiscal year, that June situation, so projected to have about 60% 60,000 fare recovery for this fiscal year. So we're really hopeful for a, quote, normal summer to be able to boost our service and continue. Hopefully people will, the Canadians and the people from Massachusetts will be able to come this year. We had some visitors, but not too many. Just a quick project update. Our automated vehicle locator continues to be very popular and streamline our operations. We're getting far less calls asking where the bus is because we have a web app now. People can go on their phones and other computers to see the actual location of our vehicle. So the web app is free to the public, updated every 3 seconds. This is an actual screenshot of how the web app works, and this is the Old Orchard Beach route, and that green cursor is the actual location of the bus within 3 seconds of its location. So this has been a super investment for us. The Dirigo electronic fare collection system was launched October 1st. It was planned for April 1st. We postponed that for, again, obvious reasons, but we've launched that very successfully, so now people can pay electronically in a contactless way, either with smartphone application or stored value cards, so much safer way to pay and much more streamlined way operationally to pay for us. We're seeing Let's Cash, seeing about 50% of our riders using contactless payment at this point, and about 50% still paying cash, and we're going to try to turn over that other 50% because there are benefits. There are fare capping benefits for frequent riders, and there is also free transfers if you use the electronic and contactless way to pay. So that's another investment that we have made, some new expenses for us, but shoving us into the 21st century, so to speak. Not only that, but the new way, electronic way to pay is not only usable on Biddeford, Saco, Old Orchard Beach transit buses, but Metro and South Portland. So anywhere in southern Maine, there's one way to pay, so it's a much more positive experience and seamless experience for the riders. Our first wave of new vehicles has arrived. We have not had a new vehicle in over 10 years, which is a problem in itself. So these vehicles are currently in revenue service. There are 2 new coaches that are servicing our Zoom Express route on the Turnpike. We took delivery of these in mid-October. They were put into revenue service in mid-November, and they are beautiful, and we are very proud of them, and it's the first of 12 new vehicles, the first 2 of 12 new vehicles we'll be getting before the end of 2021 at no extra expense to our owning municipality, so we're very proud of that. Our trolley procurement, that's the next 8 vehicles that are coming, so you will see 8 new trolleys in 2021 if everything holds true in Old Orchard Beach. And we are expecting that delivery, best case scenario, by Memorial Day, worst case midsummer, but the purchase order is in. Again, no expense to any owner municipality, so we're looking forward. The trolleys are mostly 2000s as far as the year, so they're about 20 years old, so we were due for a turnover and some new vehicles to service seasonal folks. That's a picture of what it may look like, not color-wise, but as far as model goes. We are buying them from Hometown Trolley, so we're looking forward to that. Our last 2 new vehicles are electric vehicles that we are expecting to take delivery in the October to November 2021 timeframe. They will be 2 of the first 4 electric vehicles in the state of Maine. It will go along not only with depot charging, but you will see an en route pantograph charger as shown here at Saco Transportation Center. We're hoping this construction can complete by the end of summer 2021 in anticipation for having those electric buses in the fall. So the pantograph charger comes down on top of the buses to charge en route. So every time they do a loop, get back to Saco Transportation Center, they'll be charged with the charging apparatus that looks like that. And we are in discussions with the city of Saco on where that will be at Saco Transportation Center. But we're really excited about electrification. We are kind of the Pocahontas of the electrification in the state of Maine. We're hoping this is the catalyst for many more. Metro is getting the other two vehicles, so we're making this procurement in partnership together. So just a future outlook, I've touched on many of these points, really pushing the service into a more modern state, and we've continued to innovate throughout the pandemic, which we're proud of. We've obtained the first new vehicles in over 10 years. We have implemented automated vehicle location and contactless fare collection. New trolley fleet will be turned over in 2021. We're preparing as much as possible for a post-CARES Act environment. We are really relying on that. Without those CARES Act dollars monthly, we'd be insolvent, much like many of the transit agencies nationwide at this point, for obvious reasons. We really need the ridership, fare recovery, and fare-related revenue to come back before that happens. So that's the wish of not only us, but every transit agency in America right now. Hoping for a shove in the right direction for a normal trolley season, but that is to be determined right now. And an extended COVID situation will mean tough situation in the future. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But we've made tremendous progress through a pandemic in the last 18 to 24 months. So again, didn't want to be long-winded around budget time, so I just wanted to give you an update, and I'll take any questions that you may have.
Excellent, thank you, very well done. Council, questions? Comments?
Very nice.
I have a couple of questions,
Yeah, Mike.
as always. The two buses that I see going on the turnpike, how do they run? What's their schedule?
It's mornings and afternoons, Monday through Friday, so commuters.
And where do they go? Where do they start and where do they stop? Or what's their route?
One iteration has started, so it's a turnpike route, so
Yeah.
one iteration starts at exit 32 Park and Ride, goes to exit 36 Park and Ride in Saco, and then on to the Portland's Peninsula. We've updated our schedule, so we have two buses. They ran that schedule. Now, one bus stays on that schedule, and one bus starts at Saco Transportation Center to try to take advantage of the new housing footprint in the Biddeford and Saco Mill District. People were having a tough time with those park and rides filling up, so we were losing ridership because people couldn't park there. So we brought one of those iterations into the Mill District at Saco to start at Saco Transportation Center, so more parking would be available, but a large amount, there's 500 new housing units there, so a large amount of people would have walking access to use the Zoom Express right now. And it stops at Mercy Hospital on the peninsula, stops at Maine Med, stops on the top of the hill at Elm Street on the peninsula, stops at Monument Square, and it stops at USM on Forest Avenue and comes back. So it runs from about 6 to 9:30 in the morning, about 2:30 to 7 in the evenings, Monday through Friday.
And ridership fairly steady with that?
Oh, no, it's down 85%. So
Yes.
our regular average was about 90 people a day before the pandemic. It's been about between 15 and 20 since the pandemic. And it's almost exclusively Maine Medical Center employees that we are transporting. Everybody else is not back to office work. So we've updated our schedule. We have these new vehicles, and we are ready for people to go back to work. And we've blanket advertised all around our owner municipalities to make sure they know that we're here and we're ready to transport them. So been the service for over 20 years and really solid, so
Yeah.
hoping it bounces back.
Thank you.
In 2003, I was one of the original members of the committee, for the Transit Committee, and we were failing desperately. There were questions of whether a shuttle bus could even continue, and to see where it's come, Tony, under your loving care and keeping is most appreciative. And I'd like you to express to your staff, who've been very dedicated, to see that you've come to where you are today. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I will share that, and it's appreciated.
And through the chair, I sit on the board with Louise, and I echo everything she said. To come as far as we have in a short period of time. You've been there how long?
It's not quite 2 years.
Correct. With all the changes that have been put in place, the organizational changes and stuff, everything's been positive. to do it through the budget constraints and now through COVID and still be on the right track is commendable. So I want to thank you.
Thank you. I'm hopeful that the changes we've made will really last for quite a while, and we're still on a road, but it's been fun and positive.
Jay, do you have something?
Oh, very good.
What's that? Very good. Very good. Well done. Thank you for the information.
Thank you, folks. Appreciate your
See you.
time.
Thank you for your time as well. Have a good evening. Be safe. It's getting slippery out there. To our public hearings, business licenses and approval. Goran Djuranovic, 207-213-113, 161 Saco Avenue, number 113, 1 year-round rental. Belkis-Salas-Jordan, doing business as Belkis Beach Motel LLC, 30479 98-102 East Grand Avenue, 18 year-round rentals. Richard and Katherine Felpel, doing business as Beachfront Memories, 305-315 Boisvert Street, Unit 5, 1 year-round rental. We'll open the public hearing for that at 6:46. Comments from members of the public? Comments from council?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made to accept. If there's no further discussion, and none opposed, we'll close the public hearing at 6:46. Motion carried 5-0. To liquor licenses and approvals, public hearings for Scott McCrum, JBTS Inc., doing business as Joseph's by the Sea, 31033 55 West Grand Avenue, MSV, in a restaurant. We'll open the public hearing at 6:47. Comments from members of the public? Comments from members of council?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you, council. Motion has been made in second. There's no further discussion. And none opposed, motion will carry 5-0 as well. We'll close the public hearing at 6:47. Public hearings for special amusement and approval for Mark Bureau, MCJ LLC, doing business as Royal Anchor, Water's Edge, 20215 203 East Grand Avenue, outside live music from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. And Scott McCrum, JBTS Inc., doing business as Joseph's by the Sea, 31033, inside DJ for weddings, 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. We'll open the public hearing at 6:48. Comments from members of the public? Comments from members of council?
I make a motion to approve. I would like to welcome Scott McCrum as the new owner of Joseph's by the Sea, and thank Louise and Paul Lesperance for the many years of service that they've given to this community, and probably the nicest restaurant we have in our community.
Well said and well done. Thank you, Councilor Reed.
Second.
Motion has been made in second. If there's no further discussion, and none opposed, motion will carry 5-0, and we'll close the public hearing at 6:48. Public hearing for parking amendment. Shall the Town Council of the Town of Old Orchard Beach amend the Code of Ordinances, Chapter 54, Traffic and Vehicles, amending Section 54187, Restrictions and Prohibitions, amending Willow Creek Lane by adopting the underscored language as follows. Willow Creek Lane. There should be no parking on the right side of Willow Creek Lane from the east side property line of 6 Willow Creek Lane, 2051939, to dead end facing west. There will be one handicap parking space in front of number 9 Willow Creek Lane, 2051941. We'll open the public hearing at 6:49. Comments from members of the public? Comments or questions from council?
Motion approved.
Second.
Move motion first.
Councilor Kelly.
Kelly, yeah.
Motion has been made in second. If there's no further discussion, and none opposed, we'll close the public hearing at 6:50. The motion will carry 5-0. To our town manager's report this evening. Mr. Mead.
Thank you, Chair. I appreciate that. So I don't know how many people are aware of it, but our fire department was one of 3 in York County that took on the task of administering COVID-19 vaccinations to frontline county rescue personnel. I just wanted to acknowledge that, make people aware of it. We had a total of 16 full-time Old Orchard Beach police and fire paramedics received the initial dose, as did 64 members from other York County departments. And I really want to acknowledge the leadership of Chief LaMontagne, Deputy Chief Slaving, and Captain Gilboy in doing the work necessary to become certified or acknowledged to be able to do this, and making the effort a success. We would have done more if we'd had more vaccine to work with, but like everybody, we're dealing with what comes our way, and we certainly hope in the future, if we're able to play a role, and the vaccine is available for us, that we can continue to do service to the community. So we did begin the FY22 budget process and staff internally. We are doing departmental reviews of both operating budgets, preliminary reviews of operating budgets and our capital budgets as well. And beginning in February, the Finance Committee will be reviewing the proposed capital spending requests for its review and recommendations to Council. And both of those budgets, the operating budget, capital budget, will be submitted to you in March at the March 16th meeting. Next Tuesday, on the 12th, the Town Council is going to be holding a workshop to begin the process of drafting an ordinance for the regulation of adult use marijuana in retail stores. I expect that there will be several workshops on this topic over the next few months, and because of limits to the number of people who can gather here in council chambers due to COVID-19, next week's workshop will be conducted virtually via Zoom so that we can safely accommodate anybody who wishes to participate. So instructions regarding how you can participate will be made available tomorrow through a number of means, but it'll be on our website. We'll be sending out emails and certainly sending it out through the press. So the town offers a property tax relief program to residents of Old Orchard Beach who are 70 years of age and older and who have lived here in town as year-round residents for at least the past 10 years. There's also income limitations that are required to be eligible for the program, and people have to have applied for and qualified for the State of Maine's property tax relief program in order to get the town of Old Orchard Beach's property tax relief. That can be done when you file your Maine state income taxes. This year, in 2020, the town received 68 applications for this assistance, and 35 of the applicants qualified. There's a total of $18,800 distributed to those who were eligible, so the average reduction in people's taxes was $540. For information about the 2021 program, you can contact the town's finance department, or you can get information through the town's website. And finally, I want to, one more time, encourage residents to help keep neighborhoods safe during the winter by adopting a fire hydrant and keeping snow away from those hydrants in a 3-foot radius. That's really the most efficient and quickest way to get those hydrants clear as soon as possible following a storm. And there's no forms that you need to fill out, so no waiting necessary and no red tape. You just get involved by adopting your own hydrant. And I wasn't really wanting to say that, but then I read an article today that said that there's some craziness going on with the polar vortex that looks like we're going to be getting some predictions are some significant winter weather coming up the East Coast in late January or February, so I figured I'd better put that fire hydrant request out there. That's it.
Well done, sir. Thank you.
Through the chair. Larry, I meant to mention it under the acknowledgements, but I just want to thank you for following through with my request on the 2 stop signs out here that are lit. I've noticed some people had mentioned it on Facebook that they appreciate it and they like it. Of course, they're asking for a few more in town, but that'd be another story right now. But I'm hoping that that helps with the vehicles that we see continually, especially the sign right here on the right. It's kind of shadowed. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Thank you. They certainly catch your attention. And we're going to start with 2, and we want to just see how they function, how long they're going to last, and what the cost might end up being for us before we invest in any others. But
FYI, one of the requests I saw was Union Avenue before the tracks, the one that's up before the tracks. A lot of people, I think, just get going down the street and they forget there's a stop sign there. And
yep.
I won't admit to that happening to me, Chief, but I've noticed it has happened to others. So
Yep.
put that on your radar.
Yeah.
Might have been Mike I saw, I'm not sure.
Thank you for reminding me of that, reminding the public of that. I appreciate it.
Larry, how much are the signs? You got any idea what?
Yep, certainly do. Yeah, we're just under $3,000 a piece.
Jesus.
And there's 2 choices in those. You can get the less expensive version, which is not quite, a little over half the price. But the durability of those is not as great, and I really was concerned about the solar feature of that and making sure that we got a good quality product out of it.
Yeah.
So it seemed to me that I didn't want to experiment with the less costly one.
And I do want to add that that price is kind of high, Mike, but as most of you know, a lot of times I'm at the top of Main Street just sitting there and enjoying my summer nights, and I've watched almost every single night at least 2 to 3 cars go through mostly this sign over here, and I think it's because it's a not as well lit area, and it's probably 90% out-of-state plates, just don't see it, so hopefully that changes that. A lot of money, but small price to pay if somebody doesn't get hurt, so.
Yeah, there's no doubt that intersection is one that doesn't, not even in it's not just the summer months. Certainly, I've seen myself vehicles blow through those signs.
Well, as we had talked, you've seen it right from here, from Town Hall, I believe.
Absolutely. Yep.
Looking out the window and watch cars just go through, so.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. New business this evening. Item number 7343, discussion with action. To amend the Town of Olathe Beach Code of Ordinances, Chapter 42, Parks and Recreation, Article 4, Beach, Division 4, Traffic, Section 42202, Horses and horse-drawn vehicles, to direct that horse manure containment devices be attached to all horses riding along the beach during the permitted time frame of October 1st through March 31st.
Well, I know the horses don't like it, but I understand this is the right way to go. I checked with our horse expert over here, our council's secretary, so I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion has been made in second. And I'd just like to mention this was discussed through a public hearing at our last regular meeting. Kim, you want to come speak?
Since we're in the middle of the season right now, is it a possibility that can we make it effective the following season? So that, because we've already issued the permits, they've already got all of the rules and regulations on them already. And I was just going to ask if it can be effective after March 31st. It's up to you guys. I just wanted to throw that out there because I know someone's going to ask me, and Scarborough's going to ask me when it takes effect.
Scarborough doesn't have that now?
So I was going to get into that. Scarborough does have it in effect now. That's why they changed their laws back in 2017.
So would it be that hard to look at those I mean, how many permits were issued?
Scarborough and Old Orchard, we've probably issued maybe 100.
There's that many? I was going to suggest that
But-
maybe if there wasn't too many, if it wasn't too much of an inconvenience, if we have those
Call
permits, we
every
must
one of
have
them and just
a
tell
name
them.
and number. We could always either send them a letter letting them know,
You
or,
can do that too. Yep. I just wanted to throw that out there so in case somebody asks me that, I can tell them what your decision was.
What's the date you're asking for?
So that we would go and continue the rest of this year and then start it next year,
Next
Would be
October.
when?
next October, because they can't go after March 31st anyway. Either that, if you do want it to take effect right now, then at least I know the answer to that, and then we can start calling people or sending them letters in the mail that just say that the ordinance has been changed and this is what you need to do now.
The date would be next October then that you're asking for it to start?
Right,
October-
because it ends March
October 1st.
31st, and they can't be on the beach at all because of piping plovers from April 1st to September 30th.
I think.
so if it's required in Scarborough already, most of them must be, I mean, I can't believe they just ride the beach in Old Orchard and turn around the Scarborough line, do they?
Yep.
They
Yep,
do,
that's-
because
that's-
they don't have to have,
Right, and Scarborough has also explained the ordinance to them very well as to where they can go to wear a bag and where they can go not to wear a bag.
I just as soon have it go now and let them know, but I'll leave it up to everybody else at that point, I don't know.
Thoughts on that, council?
I kind of agree with Kim myself, so I don't see the importance of it right now.
No, I'm saying I
And
think we
just a
should do
little
it now.
background on this, because this was very controversial. Has it been 2-3 years, Kim, since we met on this, when Scarborough
Right,
was upset with us because
right, it's been a little bit longer than that.
Scarborough had an ordinance on the bags on the horses, and I can tell you exactly how this all came about. And there were probably about 30 people from the horse community that came to the meeting
Yeah, we were all here.
and petitioned council.
We were here then.
Yeah, we were here, yeah, we were all on the council.
You were here, do you remember this?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't
so-
remember 30, I remember like maybe 3 or 5.
Well, This is kind of going on like nobody knows how horses are riding on the beach without, bags on them, okay? When the council's perfectly well aware that we gave them permission to do that. And I want to take onus for that because I've had many phone calls this year about this. But I don't see where it's so important that it couldn't wait till the next season myself, okay? But I just want to take a little onus for it because I was one of the people that agreed with the room full of people at that point in time that it really wasn't necessary in the off-season. And I think it got a little carried away. I think if it had started a little bit later in the season, it wouldn't have been such a big deal as it turned out to be. For instance, November instead of October, or maybe December, okay? And I'm surprised that the horse people didn't come, to be honest with you. But yes, they were kind of boycotting Scarborough over this after that all happened. So I can go either way. I just don't see the sense in making work of tracking down people and trying to tell them that the rules have changed. I guess that's my thought.
It's up to you. I just want to be able to tell people
Yeah.
what your decision was and how you want us to move forward.
Well, we have less than 12 weeks to go, so, I'm okay with next season, if every council is.
Not that far to go.
When Scarborough made their change to require the bags, they made it effective the following year when they made their decision.
There we go.
Can I just follow up with one other question? The numbers was a question too. Did we go with numbers or not in the last round of this?
With numbers?
Yeah, the rider numbers.
The rider
Scarborough
numbers,
requires
yes,
numbers.
each person on their permit, and we have a running list of them. Each permit, each person has a number.
Yeah.
And on the front of the number, it says what season it is, so 2020 to 2021. And then there were so many complaints about people's names being shown on the tags, and they were concerned about that it got flipped around so that the name of the person's on the back of the tag, so you have to actually flip up the tag in order, a police officer or something would have to flip up the tag in order to be able to see the name of the person.
But they are required to have a number.
They are required to have a number. It's $20.
Yeah.
They can either get it from Scarborough or they can get it from Old Orchard Beach, and it's good for both communities. We share the revenue, and the ordinances and everything, and then they get that. It's about that size.
Yeah.
It has a number, big red numbers on it. They have to put on the back, on their back, and each rider has to have one.
Yes.
So it's not by horse or trailer or anything like that. Each rider individually has to have one.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Very good.
Right.
Thank you. Next year.
Next year.
Next
All
season,
right.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you as well. Motion has been made and second. There's no further discussion. None opposed. Motion will carry 5-0. Item number 7344, discussion with action. Appoint Irving Parity as a regular member of the Conservation Commission, term to expire 12/31/2022.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, council. Motion has been made and second. There's no further discussion. And none opposed, motion will carry 5-0. Item number 7345, discussion with action. To authorize the tax collector to declare uncollectible all outstanding property taxes, interest and fees for a 1988 mobile home located at 16 Stagecoach Drive, previously foreclosed on by the town and now abandoned by the former owner, deemed uninhabitable by the deputy assessor and to be removed and disposed of as junk.
So moved.
Second, and I have a question,
Go ahead, Counsel.
and I'll ask Larry, I guess, because he's probably the guy that can answer it. I noticed that the taxes hadn't been collected since 2007.
Right.
I'm just kind of wondering how that might be happening. We, several years ago now, kind of clamped down and we're trying to get this corralled. And I asked because we have an abatement system. I don't know why that wouldn't have kicked in this case. I guess that's what I'm asking, more for my own knowledge. I'm not trying to make a big scene about it.
No,
but
I hear you.
It was odd to me to see that most of the $6,000 is, it started at $300 in 2007.
Right.
That could have been easily abated, I think.
Right. So it's interesting that you asked that right now. There were there were several, not a lot, several properties that when I got here in 2013 had been foreclosed upon early in the 2000s and even in the late 1990s. So we meet annually now as a staff to talk about the properties that are potentially going into foreclosure, and it happens in December that we meet about that. And we have discussed, in particular, at this past meeting, we discussed the mobile homes that are currently on that list, and there's 4 of them, I believe. And what our approach is going to be is to work individually with each of those owners, if we can get them to interact with us, about the reasons for them being behind on their taxes, but also, in particular, if it's their primary residence, and almost always with a mobile home, it is their primary residence, they can, because the homestead exemption is now at $25,000, they can really cut their property taxes by half, or even 2/3, depending on how old their mobile home is. This value on this before it was abandoned, last time it had value was about $35,000 or $37,000. So you'd have a $12,000 assessed value. Your tax would be $150 or something. So what we talked about was exactly what you said, which is if folks really aren't able to pay this right now, and the problem is once you get into the lien, the homestead exemption isn't applicable anymore. So you get further behind. So what we talked about doing was, for the homes that make sense this year, coming to council, abating taxes to get them even. Maybe they can pay, 1 year's taxes, $300 or something like that. And then going forward, the homestead exemption would apply for next year. And they would have a much, much lower tax bill. So that is where we're going with it.
Thank you.
Thanks for the question. Good. And also, if I may, through the chair,
Certainly.
we did go, I asked the deputy assessor, Bill D. Donato, to go to this abandoned mobile home just to verify that in his opinion it had no value, and so he did that. And his opinion was that it's junk.
Very good. Thank you for that. If there's no further discussion, and none opposed, motion will carry 5-0. Item number 7346, discussion with action, to approve the liquor license renewal for the following: Mark Bureau, MCJ, LLC, doing business as Royal Anchor, Water's Edge, 20215, 203 East Grand Avenue, MSV, and a hotel food optional.
And the other one,
So moved.
Second.
and then the one from,
I think we covered, well, do we need to add that for, excuse me, Scott McCrum as
Joseph's
well,
by the Sea.
for the liquor license
You're adding that to this
We
one?
did the public hearing for liquor license. Should we add that just to the approval as well,
That's going to come from you.
while we're here?
Yes, that's a good idea.
So council will add Scott McCrum, thank you, Councilor Reed. JBTS Inc., doing business as Joseph's by the Sea, 31033, 55 West Grand Avenue, MSV in a restaurant.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made in second. If there's no further discussion on either of these, and none opposed, motions will carry 5-0. Item number 7347, discussion with action. To award the bid to Quirk Ford of Augusta for a 2021 Ford Super Duty F550 four-wheel drive regular cab with a 9-foot Galleon Godwin stainless steel dump body, Fisher 2.5 polyester spreader, 8.5-foot to 11-foot WLS expandable plow in the amount of $73,465. Less the trade-in value in the amount of $14,309 for the 2007 GMC 3500 dump truck for a net price of $59,156. To be leased for 5 years with an annual installment in the amount of $12,238.97 at an interest rate of 1.69% through Gorham Savings Bank from account number 20197-50330, debt service equipment lease account with a balance of $90,619.40.
So moved.
Second for discussion.
Councilor Blow.
Larry, FYI, for the public, I believe that after 5 years, we own it.
Correct.
It's not a lease. Some
But
people
it's
will
a
interpret a
lease
lease as
purchase.
something that's being turned back in, and it's not being turned back
No,
in.
no, not at all. No, thank you. It's correct.
And I just got one quick question. Larry, what's the delivery on this? Is this something we're getting right away, or is this like months out to get?
I don't know, honestly.
Not that
but
that makes a big
I
deal.
don't know.
I'm just wondering if we have it for this season, or if it's like everything else, months. of
I don't know,
delay.
but I'll get an answer to you.
Yeah, it's not important.
If there's no further questions or comments, motion will carry 5-0. Item number 7348, discussion with action. To accept the quote from Kennebunk Glass LLC for the installation of tile flooring in the police department training room in the amount of $11,656.26 from account number 20131-50450, building repair with a balance of $16,797.56.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made in second. If there's no further discussion, and none opposed, motion will carry 5-0 as well. Council will now adjourn our regular meeting, and the chair will entertain a motion to enter into executive session. We'll meet in executive session to discuss the following. We have a labor contract for the Teamsters Local Union 340, and a labor contract Local 2247, AFL CIO CLC Union, which is the firefighters contract as well. So with that, is there a motion, Council?
So moved.
Motions to move forward.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Motion has been made in second. If there's no further discussion and none opposed, we thank you for viewing this evening. Be safe, and be well, and have a good evening.